We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, coming to you from the studios of Troy Cablevision on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. If you're watching on Facebook this morning from Honolulu, good morning to you. In Hawaii's beautiful shores, and of course if you're in San Francisco this morning, or Mexico City, Mexico, you're on Today in Lower Alabama, and hope you're watching, and we'll gather from what we do today. Of course, we'll be talking about the Masters Golf Tournament, and of course how the leaders are panning out on the first day. We'll be talking about high school and college baseball, spring training football, at Auburn and Alabama. They've got the A-Day games this week at both places, and should be a great weekend. And of course, hopefully the weather will be conducive for a nice weekend, but bad weather is expected in here on Saturday. So try to get all your things you want to do outdoors in today, because Saturday's going to probably be a rainy day. Clearing up on Sunday, and and hopefully a beautiful week next week. I'm looking forward to it. So forth. Of course, Charles Henderson High School in the playoffs again for the, I want to say it's the 15th or 16th straight year that Charles Henderson has been in the baseball playoffs, and congratulations again to them. Of course, Troy University's got a big road trip to Boone, North Carolina for their 3-game series with Appalachian State. So Troy is doing very well, though. They're 20-9 right now, and they're on their way, if they play well, to maybe winning 40 games, which will pretty much give you a berth in the NCAA baseball tournament. So that's something we'll be hopefully looking forward to. Of course, as we mentioned, Auburn's A-Day game is tomorrow. Steedham won't play in the regular game, but he is expected to play in a sort of a 7-on-7 game before the regular game. Steedham is second with 3,000, is the second 3,000-yard passer in program history. That'll surprise you, won't it? He threw for over 3,000 yards last year after coming in here from Baylor. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike Amos, Bud.
Bud, where have you been? Where have you been, Bud? On vacation?
Been on vacation.
How you doing, friend?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing great, and glad you called.
Yes, sir. I want to make a brief comment. I can't stay long, but I was at a ball game yesterday afternoon, a high school ball game, and a doubleheader. And as I was coming out after the last ball game, I come across a lady on the opposing team. Now, I'm not going to mention the schools. And the only thing I said to her was, be careful going home. Have a good night. And you would have think I stood there and cussed her for everything she was worth. There is more to life than athletics.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been in a situation the last 4 or 5 years where I've turned my life around. But for some, I mean, it trickles down from Little League to high school ball to college ball. You know, it's just unreal how we put so much emphasis as fans and parents in youth ball and high school ball.
And all you were doing was just trying to be a gentleman and a good sport. Evidently, she was on the losing end, and she thought you were being a smart, excuse my language, a smart ass for being polite.
Yeah, and both ball games were close. They were for area title, and it was a 6-4 win and 11-10 win for the team that I was pulling for, and you know, and the couple bad calls. Well, really, the coaches for the opposing team out coached himself, and in that first ball game, got 2 or 3 kids thrown out at base and a couple of kids threw out at home just for trying to be aggressive, and it cost them a ball game. But I just wanted to call and say that there's so much more to life than athletics and getting bent out of shape. And these kids are 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and it's the same way. They're not only opposing fans, but you got fans on my side and everybody that's out on the coach. Or, you know, everybody thinks they're a coach and an armchair quarterback, and it's just unreal how we sit there and ridicule our 16, 17, 18-year-olds and our coaches who don't get paid a lot to coach even in high school, just how we belittle them for the decisions we think should be made. And the coach for, I think it was for, I can't remember, it might have been Louisiana Lafayette. I saw an interview on YouTube this morning talking about how kids in Little League and daddy ball, how it affects them all the way, because a lot of kids are coached by their fathers.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're told as a child in Little League ball that, you know, they don't know, they play them. Daddy's going to play the son no matter how good or bad.
You're right.
But
and he's gonna make the tournament team how good are out too.
Right, and if he progresses on through high school and college and pros, 50 to 60% of the time, he's going sometime or another sit on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a given fact in baseball. You go, no matter how good you are, there are going to be times when you're going to sit on the bench. We need to learn how to win with grace and lose with grace.
Well, I tell you what, you know, I commend you for being a gentleman and being a good sport. And then she turned around and takes something that was a positive, trying to make a negative out of it, you know?
Yeah, well, and like I said, we got it everywhere. We got it on the high school that I associated with. It happens. It happens everywhere. And, you know, this was about 30 minutes after the game, and apparently one of her sons played, and it was a good ball game both ways. Both games could have went either way. That last ball game was 11-10 win for us, and you know, and you got to rival the school I pull for around this area has been so strong in baseball and football, and you know they've always got that mark on their back. So I just want to call and say that you know we need to realize who we're associated with and what we say. You may not ever know the words that you speak, how it will affect a young person.
Yeah, that's right. No question about it. You know, I can go back and recall, you know, a lot of instances where, you know, a person just trying to be a good sport, you know, is taken the wrong way, believe it or not, by a loser. They were a sore loser whether or not you'd said anything or not, you know.
That's right. They were just ready to vent and say something to somebody, no matter what was said. She was just ready to let loose. Yeah. And let me tell you another thing about sport, in my opinion, about being spoiled punk and all this is the LeBron James and University of Alabama Nick Saban deal. I think that's one of the most ridiculous things I've heard. And from what Mike called in and said yesterday, LeBron doesn't have a patent on his show.
Yeah, I know he doesn't. That's right.
So, you know, what I mean, I
Yeah,
know,
really,
and you know, too, of cases where people have come up with inventions or ideas, and someone would take it away, and what can you do? If you don't have a patent on it, it's up for free grabs.
Right. Yeah. Did your team make the? Is your team in the area tournament?
They are. We won the area last night, and we've got 4 games left this season, and I think around the 19th to 20th of the high school playoffs will start, and we'll host the first round.
Well, hey, won't you go ahead and tell us who that team is?
Well, it's Luverne.
Yeah, I know. I know you're proud of Luverne, and of course you coached a lot of those kids, didn't you?
I did. I coached them in the youth ball and football and baseball, and one of the guys that I real proud of is the quarterback and pitcher and shortstop for Luverne, Tate Brantley. I coached his dad in Little League ball and everything, and high school ball at Highland Home when he went to Highland. And me being in the position that I am now, as far as mobility and getting out and stuff, his fathers come by, Mr. Donnie Brantley, and picked me up and carried me out to ball games. I hadn't missed a Luverne game this year in baseball.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. And like I said, the team we played, they just they fought hard. They really did. And we were just a little deeper in pitching. It would have been interesting to see if it split yesterday, how we go about it today. But we've got play Brantley and Elba and McKenzie.
Boy, that Brantley is loaded again, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They beat us. They beat us the second game of the year back in March, 19-3, and I think it'll be a closer outcome when we go down there.
How good is Matt Wise's grandson? He's a pretty good player, isn't he?
He is. He's a real good player.
Yeah,
and Brantley's like Luverne. When I was talking about having a mark on your back and athletics, Brantley's another school that you try so hard and you have losing streaks against these teams, and when you come up to a chance to beat Luverne or Brantley, and it's a call here or there that may go either way, you get upset as a program that hadn't beat these top teams in several years, and I can see the I call it outrage. I can see the discontentment, but you know yourself, Luverne and Brantley for years, along with Crenshaw Christian here in the county, have been dominant in baseball and football. And I think Highland Home, even though they've never won a championship in anything, I think with the coach they got up there this year, that they're going to be much improved from last year. They were 7-3, but I think they're going to continue to be on their winning ways. And you know, Coach, everything comes around in circles. You know, you got 8 or 9 years when you're on top, and then you know sometimes you don't have the athletes that you normally have. Everything in lower classification in sports turned around goes around in a circle. But
I'll tell you another team that is very, very good is Pike Liberal Arts, and one of the reasons why, of course, they'd be good anyway, but with Nate Renfro leaving Brantley and going to Pike Liberal, boy, that was a tremendous blow for Brantley, and at the same time a great thing to happen to Pike's program, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was, and let me tell you, back probably 4, 5, 6 years ago, we had a little problem over here. I won't call it a problem, but we had where our education we were below the state level in March in our education, and it come to a point where we had 2 schools in this county, only school in this county. It being Luverne was not up to education standards, and therefore you could transfer to a school within the county that was above the state requirements.
And that's how they got some old players then. And now I know the rest of the story.
Several kids left Luverne and went to Brantley on that reason. And of course, Brantley's, I would say, overall has had a stronger program in the last 20 years. 25 years in Luverne. Lost several kids. We lost Nate Renthrow. We lost him. He went to
that's right.
Jake Free. If you remember Jacob Free from Brantley, he was a Luverne, and his parents decided to take him to Brantley, and he finished his career at Brantley in high school ball. So there were several ball players that left Luverne 4 or 5 years ago that would really have helped our program in the past. But, you know, you got to do what's right for your child, and that was just a decision their parents made. But, you know, things like that happen, and if you continue to be in education and coaching, stuff like that will happen.
Thanks so much, Bud. Hey, watch our show. The great-granddaughter of the great Glenn Daniels is going to be on this show in a minute.
Oh, that's great. Coach Daniels over here doing well, and I will stay on and watch. And, Mike, it's always good to talk to you, and you have a good weekend.
Thank you, friend. Call again. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Good morning, Mike.
Hey, live from the Masters Golf Tournament in Augusta, Georgia. Is that right?
We came back. No, we're back now.
Was you able to get all that junk in your car?
I spent $2,250 in the pro shop.
And of course, you're bringing them back to suckers like me. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
How much of one of those hats cost now, Will?
Oh, they're not bad. $30 Not bad.
Will Matthews calling in from Ozark this morning, and of course, was you there for the first round yesterday, or what did you do?
Yeah, we came back. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. As sorry a golfer as you are, you could have beat Sergio on 15 yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. You think I could get away with an 8 or a 9 instead of a 13?
And every ball he hit in the water hit within 5 feet of the hole.
Yeah, he said, I saw the interview with him last night. He said he thought he hit every one of the shots good, you know.
Yeah, every one of them hit right at the hole, but you got to hit beyond the hole.
And see, you can't, sometimes you can't keep the ball from spinning. Is that right?
That's right. And he spun sandwiches right back in the hole.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. It's a great tournament coming on. Do me a favor. Call me back in about 15 minutes, if you don't mind.
All right.
All right, thank you. I really would appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Will Matthews calling from Ozark. We've got guests in the house. We're going to be talking about a big 5K run right after these messages. Come in here, pretty girl.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Quezon to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
English. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate Bud calling from Luverne this morning, and of course, you know quite a few folks from Luverne, don't you?
I do.
Tell them your name and introduce yourself.
My name is Sydney Armstrong, and I am Vice President of the Interact Club at Charles Henderson High School.
And I'm Alyssa English. I'm the secretary of the Interact Club at Charles Henderson High School.
And of course, we're getting ready to have a big run tomorrow.
No, it is April 28th.
April 28th, so that's a few well, the last weekend in April.
In April, yes, sir.
And tell us about it, and how can these folks out here be a part of it?
So this is a 5K color run that the Interact Club at Charles Henderson High School is hosting, and we are raising money for the club, or Never Thirst, which builds wells in other countries. So every sponsorship or runner packet money that we get in, it goes straight to Never Thirst organization.
That is a wonderful program, and you know, I know both of you dads, and I know how proud they are of you and so forth, and for you to put together an event that can help so many people, and you know, I've seen some of these presentations, and for just a little money you can give water, which is so vital to people that don't have water.
You're right.
And
yes, sir.
you know, if you don't have water, gosh, you're in terrible shape. And there are places all over the world that don't have good, clean, portable water. Is that
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And this is part of the Interact.
Interact Club at Charles Henderson. Yes, sir.
All right, the Interact is a Rotary.
It is. We actually.
I saw you at Rotary the
we
other
did
day.
We went to Rotary Tuesday.
And tell them what Rotary did.
They were very nice. We sang the song.
And what did they do? Did they give y'all something?
They did. They gave us a sponsorship money for the 5K.
Yeah, and I tell you, I ask folks every day. I said, "Where's all this money going that we're giving away?" but this is really a great cause, and a guy that is really instrumental in this type program is our guy located down the street here from us that rents, has a rental business.
Yes, sir.
Are y'all working with him at all?
No, sir. We are not.
Who do y'all go through to give this money to?
With the Never Thirst?
Yeah, Never Thirst.
I think it's Jason Jones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Jason
about.
Jason Jones. Yeah,
All right, well, see, that's what I'm trying to.
We go through him.
But so, you know, Jason's a good friend of mine, but in my old age, I keep forgetting names. But Jason has been a part of this for a long time.
He has.
And has done worlds and worlds of good to people all over the world. You know, even with just his own efforts. But this Never Thirst started in Montgomery, I think. I want to say, and a lawyer or somebody up there started it, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger, and it's a wonderful, wonderful. You know, if you want to give to something good, this is something really good.
It is. And to run, it is $20 per person, and 12 and under is 10. So if you would like to run, or you have family members that want to run, walk, or play, or whatever, just go by the Charles Henderson High School office and pick up a runner form and fill it out, and you can just hand it back to them, and they will take it.
And make sure you get your orders in by Tuesday so that you can get a T-shirt, which will come with your packet when you pay your $20, and those are being made by Trojan Graphics. So.
And that comes with your and I'm sure it'll probably be some water and some orange juice and some cookies or whatever. And of course, we appreciate all of that. Rumors is opening up Monday, a new restaurant on the corner in downtown Troy, and you know, I've been to Rumors many times. Its name's not Rumors in Ozark, but they've had a restaurant there, and it's really, really good, and I'm sure they will be open for some coffee. Let's see who's calling in this morning. Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is Max Howell.
Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. How you doing, Max?
Doing great, Mike. How about you?
Doing great. We're talking about a big 5K run that Charles Henderson High School Interact Club is putting on to raise money for portable water in this world. And you know, there's so many countries and across the world that don't have clean water. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I keep up to some degree, Mike. I do, and you know, congratulations to groups like that will step out and, you know, try to make a mark somewhere.
Yeah, no question about it. just hold on, and we'll be with you in shortly.
Okay,
Max
sure.
Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi, and of course we appreciate him calling every week, and he's always on top of things and so forth. Now, first of all, I want to know where you got that red hair.
Oh, it's my dad, I guess, when he was.
Well, you mean he had red hair one time?
Yes,
Of
sir,
course,
when
he's a proud father, I
he
know.
is.
And of course, you are real active right now, getting ready, playing softball.
I do.
You play volleyball too, don't you?
No, I just play softball and I cheer.
And do you hope to play college softball, or what's your plan?
No, sir, I'm actually going to Troy University.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm glad you're going to Troy.
Me too.
One of the sharpest girls in Alabama, wouldn't you say? And what is your plans, Ms. Ingrid?
I'm going to Troy University as well.
You know, Dr. Leon Davis, who's a very close member of your family, is a very good friend of mine, and you know, I talked to him quite a bit.
That's my grandmother's brother.
Of course, your dad is very active himself.
Yeah.
Both of them officiate football.
Yes.
Your dad's not doing as much as you used to, but your dad still officiates quite a bit,
He's
doesn't
still
he?
kicking.
Yeah, no question about it. And your dad hails from Elba, and Sydney hails, her dad hails from Troy, but his mama
Alabama.
hails from Luverne. She is the great-great-granddaughter the great-granddaughter, is that right?
Great-granddaughter.
Of the great football coach in Glenn Daniels. You're familiar with him, aren't you, Max?
Oh, absolutely. I
The
remember
great Glenn
Coach
Daniels. And of course, you know, Glenn Daniel, does he still teach Sunday school?
Yes, he's going.
Everybody tells me that he's one of the best Sunday school teachers in the world.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And history teacher, is that right?
Yes, knows everything that
Exactly.
you need to know.
What is your favorite subject in school?
I like math.
Yeah. Tell them who your parents are.
My parents are Neil and Michelle Armstrong.
And your parents.
And mine are Jim and Tammy English, if I can get it out.
Okay, tell us another thing now. You need to go ahead and get these applications in and back to y'all. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Before next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. And now how can they pick it up?
If you'll go by this Charles Henderson High School office, they will give you everything you need to know.
How about telephone numbers? Certain telephone numbers. You know, some people might just want to give a donation.
Yes. Actually, we have an email, and it's interactclub@students.troyschools.net.
That's
and
pretty hard.
If you'll email us, it's on our website
Okay.
at Charles Henderson, and if you run by the office or call the office, they are more than welcome.
Exactly right. Well, I tell you what, y'all do a great job, and
Thank you.
I know you can't wait to get back to school. Now, of course, you've been under the weather. You doing good?
Yes, sir. I'm
You
doing
scared
good.
us. You scared
I know,
us.
I'm doing much better.
Of course, now, and what position do you play on the softball team?
Oh, I'm everywhere. Center field, third base,
And,
catcher.
yeah, well, I tell you, I watched you grow up, and you're quite an athlete, and you are too. What
I used to play. I don't play anymore.
What is
as
your
much.
plan now?
I don't really know what I want to do right now. All I know is I'm going to Troy, and
Okay.
I don't know what I want to major in or anything.
Well, hey,
like
we're
that,
just glad that you're going to Troy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's very important. We'll be back with Max Howell and more from today in LA. And of course, remember, this is going on the 28th of April. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it starts what time in downtown Troy?
Registration starts at 8 o'clock.
And where will it start?
It is
Collegedale Church of Christ
Yeah,
parking
Collegedale
lot.
Church of Christ. Okay.
Yes,
In the back parking lot behind Collegedale.
Okay, and you walk or run, is that right?
You can walk, run, whatever you want to do.
That's good. Just send in a check. Is that right?
Yeah,
Or bring a
there you
check
go.
with you.
Always.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back with more of Today in LA. Thank you all for coming.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by our good friends at The Messenger. Don't live in Troy without The Messenger. And, one of the oldest daily papers in Alabama. Of course, Max Howell has joined us, and, of course, one of the, in my opinion, one of the best football analysts out there, and a guy that's been there and done there. That, there's a lot of guys making all these predictions and making all these forecasts of how good a player is. But one thing, Max, they've never found a way to measure the size of a young man's heart. And that's where the real deal is. Is that right?
That's exactly right, Mike. I mean, you got to be, physically, you got to work within the parameters. We all know that. But that different, you got two guys there at 6'2", 225 and run 4.5. One of them emerges to be a great athlete. The other one just kind of muddles through life. That's the difference right there. How bad did they want it, and how much work were they willing to do?
I'm going to say something, and you've heard it all your life, but it's the truth that there ever was one. How many times have you said you'd have to kill him if you got in a fight with him? You'd have to kill him. All right. Now that sounds bad to say, but we're talking about pride. There's a lot of kids out there that, hey, they've got so much pride you'd almost have to kill them to get them off the field. Don't you agree?
Look, I went to a big kind of sales group meeting in Tupelo yesterday. They had a national speaker came in, and he was a little guy. He was 5'5" and probably 175. And when it was over, he told a little bit about his background. Happened to be, by the way, from Andalusia originally. Played for Coach Sharp over there. But basically, this is what along that same line. He said he was always introduced as a guy that weighed 120 pounds in high school and thought he weighed 240.
Yeah, right.
And you've seen that kind before.
Oh yeah.
It's just that, and that's the winners.
Yeah.
To me, that's the ones that can step out and end up.
It's sad to say that if you're not, you still got to be physical. In this day and time, you can't win with a heart alone. Sometimes you think you might can in high school, but now even in high school, you got to be big and strong.
Yeah. Well, the athlete. We talked about this before with the training techniques now, all the high technology stuff they do, and the nutrition that's come along with the program through the year. The big 6'5", 250-pounder, Mike Wood came along and played the tuba.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You didn't see many guys on the football field that was that big because they didn't have any background, basically as far as coordination, as far as weights training was concerned. Their body had outgrown their coordination, I think. But today, there's nothing uncommon. Offensive lines across the board in Division I are 300 pounds or better.
Oh yeah.
And all of them can run. I mean, they all got great athletic ability.
I used to wonder, Max, why some teams why the big boys just kill these smaller schools whenever they'd play. You know, how many times have you heard say, "Oh, Troy's going to play Nebraska. Nebraska's going to kill them," you know, physically. You know, everybody thought Troy was just going to get killed physically, but you know, nowadays with the 25 scholarships, you know, everybody's got players. But something that I've learned, and at one time, I've said this before to myself and to other people, it was, guys, Troy can't play with those folks, you know, talking about the big boys and all that. Then they turn around, and when you not think they can play with them, they beat LSU, one of the best football. I would say LSU is probably a top 10 program in the country. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
You know, in the country.
But and you hit it right on the head, Mike. When they changed the rules about the number of scholarships they could offer you,
that level of playing field, isn't it?
Yeah, that allowed schools like Troy and Southern Miss and those schools to become very competitive.
Yeah. You know, Troy is sitting, and I'm going to ask you what you think. I think the top three, if I had my choice of being a recruit, the top 3 states in the country, it'd be Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. Wouldn't you take, all right, those 3. I'll take those 3. Where would you want to recruit?
Well, I'm going to say Florida first because of the numbers. And certainly I worked there for several years, so I'm pretty familiar with their programs. But I think Alabama and Georgia, as far as the population numbers are concerned, I think they're right in. And I tell you, you got to look across Mississippi and Louisiana.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and listen, let me do something. Give me Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and the Mississippi junior colleges to recruit. That would be pretty good recruiting.
It is, because you can take the great athletes and those that may have had some academic problems along, stick them over in the junior college for a year or two, let them grow, let them mature a little bit more, and bring them back to their junior, senior year, and mix that with your great high school players. That's the winning combination.
If you think about it, you know, of course, everybody says Florida high school football is some of the best. A lot of people think Georgia is the best. Alabama's always good. Mississippi is getting better every year, and they're good too. But, you know, you look at Tennessee, and people say, oh, there are not a lot of players in Tennessee. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, I know.
I mean, Tennessee, the great state of Tennessee, does not produce a lot of football players. But you know what? Above them, Kentucky, you know, I see players coming from Kentucky. You know, Kentucky evidently does breed pretty good players.
Well, but not enough, Mike. The problem is the numbers. That's where the whole.
So you would throw Kentucky in there with Tennessee as not really having a lot of great players.
See, you look at Tennessee. Tennessee's going to produce about 10 or 15. Florida's going to produce 250.
Exactly.
Well,
and which will be left over for all these other schools to come down there and get. All the big schools up north are getting the speed out of Florida, aren't they?
Absolutely right. I mean, you know, the weather in Central South Florida, they can stay outside, work outside. We've heard all the reasons, but I'm just telling you, it is a numbers game. And, you know, I did that. You know that. I did that for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
I did the majority of recruiting everywhere I was. And that was the whole key to it. To find the numbers and then carry it off from that. That's what you had to do.
Well, Max Howell's on the line. Max, I want to mention a couple of things. Charles Henderson High School baseball came from behind to beat Eufaula. Noah Lowry threw his best game of the year. Congratulations, Noah. What an athlete that Noah has been for Charles Henderson all year. And I know his mom and daddy and grandmom and granddaddy are excited to see this Charles Henderson team, and they're playing very good baseball come tournament time. You know, Max, one thing about the playoffs in high school, it doesn't matter how you play early in the year or in the middle of the year. It's how well you're playing at the end that matters, doesn't it?
That's it. See, that's a whole new season, Mike. That's the thing that a lot of people, you know, don't stop to realize. And it could be in any sport. It could be football in the playoffs. It could be basketball, baseball, softball, whatever it might be. You play to get to the playoffs. Then that's like whatever you've done up to that point. That's history. Now you start the new season, and to me, that's where you get your championships.
Want to mention also Pike Liberal Arts came from 8 down to beat Fort Dale yesterday in high school baseball, and of course they're on a tear. Pike is the #1 team in the Alabama Independent Schools. Fort Dale, the Lady Patriots beat Fort Dale 11-1, and Lou Verne stopped Goshen twice. The girls did 6-3 and 11-10. No, excuse me, the boys beat Goshen in a doubleheader 6-3 and 11-10. Max Howell is on our show today, and we appreciate you calling, Max. Of course, next week or this weekend, you've got the Alabama A-Day game and you got the Auburn A-Day game. First of all, I'm going to ask you about Auburn. What do you think they need to, or I will use the word derive? What do you think they need to derive from this spring practice?
Well, first of all, they lost 4 starters on the offensive front, Mike. They've got to replace those guys.
And again, the thing I was trying to bring up just a while ago, Max, if you're not strong up front, you can forget it. The big boys are going to roll over and under and around you if you don't have a front that can stand up to them. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely the truth. And I think the other side of that, Mike, is, and I think Coach Malzahn's got to really take a close look, is the injury factor. How many folks do you have get hurt in the spring and can't finish? That means it cuts into the off-season program where they continue to build that size and this physical structure to play for next fall.
Yeah.
And I can give you some example after example. That's what cost Butch Jones' job at Tennessee. They had 9 or 10 starters out all last year, off and on.
Yeah.
I think the thing that Jeremy Pruitt did when he went in at Tennessee was evaluate the off-season program. Yeah. And I think Auburn's at that same point right now.
And you know what? It makes good sense that Steedham, who threw for over 3,000 yards, only 2 people in Auburn history thrown for over 3,000 yards. I mean, why in the world would you want to risk him in the A-Day game when he's already proven himself? And you have all these fans going to games say, "Oh, I want to watch Steedham play," and everything. Let me tell you this: they ought to be just happy that the kids can get his autograph, because he's not going to play a down of that game. Don't you agree?
Well, yeah, if they do, they put a green jersey on, they better not touch you.
Yeah.
That's all I say.
All right, what if y'all back in those days would have, of course, y'all had, I tell you something about something, when you were coaching at Troy under Billy Atkins, y'all had some of the most competitive spring games that I've ever seen. I can remember when Bobby Enslin played Sim Bird straight up. You remember that? If Sim had to come around, Bobby, y'all would have probably got into a running offense. Don't you agree? That'd have been the difference. If Bobby Enslin would have been the quarterback, you'd had a running attack, and then, of course, with Sim, you had a great throwing attack,
Well, you remember, too, Mike, we had so many players because we were recruiting everywhere at that particular time. And we, our philosophy was we didn't have a 40 scholarship. We wanted the 40 best players, they play in those springs that were early in Sim's career and Eddie Green and that bunch in their first and second year with us. We were still trying to find a team.
And the thing about it, really, y'all were very competitive in the spring, though. I mean, your spring games were, y'all gave them a Florida trip or a steak supper or something to the winter.
We took them to the beach. Oh, we took them to the beach.
Hey, wait a minute now. You talking about y'all took the whole team to the beach?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right. Do that.
Stop. Let's talk about the rules, Mike. We were in NAIA going to Division II.
Yeah.
And we were in that 2-year window, and at that time, NCAA allowed you, and depending on your competition, you could almost choose the rules that you played by.
Yeah.
And what we did, Billy was so smart. We combined the rules. We took the best of both.
Yeah.
Or the most lenient of both.
Yeah.
And those were, you could help the kids. We got the wife a job. We used a lot of married kids.
Yeah.
To keep the guys on scholarship. I mean, we did some things that you can't do today.
Y'all had a bunch of grown men that came in here to play, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Hey, you had guys that have been shaving for a long time. Is that right?
Mike, we had guys that started in the SEC the year before.
Now, let me just say something else, too. Y'all let them be who they wanted to be. Back then, that was the cool era. you know, the cool guys or the guys that walk down the sidewalk smoking a cigarette, you know, being cool. You know, we look back now and just wish we'd never touched one. But y'all were very liberal with these kids. I mean, down in Florida, y'all allowed them to drink beer, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but let me tell you the reason. The reason remember Billy came, he'd been 1 year in high school, but he'd been 15 years in the NFL.
That's right, yeah.
So, I mean, he brought that philosophy with him, and he was trying to teach maturity. But you got to understand this. A lot of those kids came to Troy from a problem background already.
Yeah.
So we already knew that if we slammed the hammer down on them too hard, they're going to pack up and go home.
Yeah.
We knew that. So,
you know,
and here's the thing that Billy did, and it came true with others down the road, is, you know, you don't treat everybody the same. You know, you take where they are and you try to put a program together, a discipline program for them, and then you try to keep them within the boundaries. And that's the way we ran the program. And you look at those kids today, and we're going to see them, you know, on the 21st.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see them the second game next year with that 68 team.
That's
but we're
right.
going to see the alumni bunch come in 2 weeks. That those guys end up being very successful businessmen.
No question about it.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I really am.
Of course, we're talking to Max Howell, and of course, he not only played at Troy after transferring from Auburn, but he also coached on Troy's on the teams that turned Troy football fortune around. You know, before Billy Atkins got to Troy, they had only had one winning season in 10 years. Now, you know, everybody said, "Oh gosh, he's a terrible, terrible coach." But let me just say something about the difference. And of course, you can add to this, Max. Back then, the head football coach had 5 classes he had to teach before he could even go to the practice field. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Bill Clipson, Rudy Argini.
He was Dr. Bill Clipson, a dean of the School of Health and Hyper.
Yeah, health and physical education.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember those 3 coaches were all PhDs.
That's right. Rudy Argini,
Mel Lucas, and Bill Clipson.
Coach Williams probably was too. You know, Bill Williams.
Yeah, but he was either before or after I got there.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and we've talked about this before, Mike. Those guys taught you how to coach. They didn't teach us how to win.
Yeah.
They didn't teach us the winning effort on the field, but they taught the techniques of how you put a program together, what you do, and I think a lot of that was somewhat a distraction to Coach Clipson in those days, because he was, you know, the football program was just an extension of the health and physical education department.
Yeah, no question about it.
And Earl Watson was the athletic director, and he promoted that, and that's why it ended up the way. When Billy Atkins came in, all that went out the window. It was all about winning after that.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, it all turned around, and since then, and you know, everybody said, "Oh, you talk about the Atkins bunch." Well, let me tell you, they were the real deal. I'll promise you. And Troy became it was sort of like your hero. What was the guy's name that had sand kicked in his face? Atlas.
Oh yeah, Charles Atlas.
Yeah, it's about like Troy having to go up against Charles Atlas every weekend. And after Billy Atkins got here, hey, we were Charles Atlas.
Yeah,
is that right?
No doubt about that, Mike. And I tell you, anybody that kind of forgets about what happened there, and that's why I'm so appreciative you having me on, because I love to go back and talk about that. Anybody that doesn't realize that program that Billy put together from 65 to about 73, that's what turned Troy into the power that they are today. Before that, it was a great institution, but it was a teacher's college.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. I'm going to call out a town, and I'll just give you an idea of how he recruited. Of course, a lot of these guys were transfers, but you take Geneva, Alabama, and Hartford. First of all, you got Bill Russell, you got Fran Collins, and T.J. Morris. Those are three guys from the little town of Geneva. Well, one of them's from Hartford, and the other one from Geneva.
But yeah, you got to remember where we got them from, though. We got them from Alabama.
Exactly. You got Frank Collins and T.J. Morris came out of Alabama, and Bill Russell. Did Bill go to Auburn?
No, we got him right out of high school.
Yeah, and boy, he was a heck of a player. People, if you ever knew Bill, the burly, red-headed Bill Russell, boy, you talking about getting a grain-fed youngster out of Hartford he was a great one. But Hartford was also the town that produced Early Wynn and the great player at Alabama, Dixie Howell. Two of the greatest athletes that ever came out of the state of Alabama came out of Hartford.
You do know that Dixie Howell's my dad's first cousin.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Man, Dixie Howell, and your name's Max Howell.
all that family came out of northwest Alabama.
I'll tell you another good one that came out of Hartford was Tom Bryan. You remember Tom Bryan that played at Auburn?
Bryan played at Auburn, yeah.
Great guy too. But all right, let's take another town, Greenville. Lyled Rainey came out of Greenville, and what a great athlete. And he got in trouble with y'all because didn't he fake a punt without telling you?
Oh yeah, here's what we couldn't do with Lyled. Great physical talent.
And he could kick it too. The great kicker. You remember that?
But he was a punter. But
Coffee. Go ahead.
He was the most undisciplined guy on the field you've ever seen.
Yeah, but great athlete though that could run.
We could call a play and then they don't tell him what he checked to.
Yeah. Of course, later on you signed a guy named Ricky Myrick. I don't know if he came in your group, but he came in very closely after y'all left. Yeah. Ricky Myrick was a great player out of Greenville too. And then there was a big Autry guy that came out. You remember all those Autrys from Greenville?
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
And of course, you look at Dothan. Of course, you had Danny Moore. You had Loggins came out of Dothan. You had some. Then you look over at Headland. You got old country boy from Headland. Might have been as good I'll just say this. He might have been as good a defensive back that has ever played football in the state of Alabama. You know who I'm talking about.
It was Ronnie Shelley.
Ronnie Shelley was it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a statistic, and this would have been unbelievable in Pee Wee football. His senior year at Troy University, Ronnie Shelley intercepted 17 passes. In one season, he intercepted 37 passes in his career. Those marks will never, ever be broken.
They won't.
I don't know if they're not national records.
No, yeah, Mike. Here's the reason though. Remember, Billy was a defensive back.
Yeah.
And he brought the scheme at that time when we first broke into what was the old Alabama Collegiate Conference, which eventually ended up being the Gulf South Conference. Everybody was playing. That's why on offense we scored so much. Everybody played a 3-deep zone. And they played wherever the tight end, they put a fourth guy like an outside linebacker, like a monster man. It was called a 5'2", 5'3" monster, and that's the way they coached it. Well, Billy brought man-to-man coverage in, and he put Ronnie back there as a free safety, and Ronnie we turned him loose and just let him read the quarterback, and that's why. And nobody in that league was doing that. Nowhere close to that at that particular time. We were so far ahead.
Hey, you could see him chuckling. You would say, Coach, what you laughing about? He said, we're gonna eat their lunch.
So I'm honest to goodness, toward the end, we never worried about getting beat. Yeah. We just worried about how many points we were going to score.
Now, and he sat over there with the headphones, and of course, I'm sure he had somebody in the box, but he didn't. Hey, listen, he called more or less every play, didn't he?
Who's that?
Didn't Billy call most every play?
I called every play.
Oh, did you? I didn't know you. I knew you were offensive line coach.
Every play, I coached the offensive front and called every snap. Yeah. And always, once we got the score up, he'd call me down there and say, quit throwing the ball. and I'd call timeout, and I'd go out there and tell Sim, I'd say, look, I'm going to call the run, but if they go give you the pass, you check it at the line of scrimmage.
I was looking at a program, in fact, the National Championship Game program, and I was looking for J.A. Williams' name. J.A. Williams played in the National Championship Game, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was a freshman.
Was he hurt? But he was on that team, wasn't he?
He was on the team, yeah.
But he was not on the roster of that championship game. And I said, man, he was one of the great players. He was one of our best players back then. You remember that?
We had, we got him and he and Frank Elmore.
And then and they came out of course,
Gordo, I believe.
Yeah, Gordo, and J.A. came out of the same place Coach Atkins was from.
Millport.
Millport, yeah. And then, of course, you got a guy from South Georgia who might have been the best, as good a running back that's ever played here, was Jeff Cotton, wouldn't you say?
Jeff Cotton, well, and no doubt about it.
Boy, you talk about hard nose. You folks that knew.
He'd already played at Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Out of high school.
And he looked like he had Mickey Mantle forearms. You know what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen Mickey Mantle's forearms?
Yeah,
and he had Bronco Nagurski legs. He was a great running back, and of course you had him along with Jay Williams and a guy named Barber who's no longer with us. You remember him, don't you?
Absolutely.
And he came out of South Georgia.
And our run offense was just basic. We run inside trap and we run the sweep. We always started with the same play. It was just a toss sweep to see if we could get out.
But you always pulled both guards, didn't you?
Both guards and pull both guards.
And you had Alvin Buck Deeds, and Hugh Cole were good running guards, weren't they?
Absolutely.
Bobby Floyd was one before that,
We used those three. Hugh at that time was a freshman. And,
out of Sylacauga.
Yeah, and we used him in and out. So, we signal plays in, but basically we used a substitution to call the plays, to run somebody in. We used Hugh Cole the whole time, particularly that championship year.
No question about it.
But our offense was based on the pass. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Sim and Danny and Bobby.
And, and ladies and gentlemen, you didn't ever see the shotgun. There was a drop back pass, and, you remember Florida under Spurrier. They didn't play out of the shotgun. They played that short drop. What was the benefit of the short drop compared to a shotgun?
It takes, in those days, anybody that got in the shotgun never ran the ball.
Yeah, you won't. Any passing team back then would want the defense to think run first, wouldn't they?
Absolutely right, because that was what everybody did.
Yeah.
And Billy brought the 3 and 5-step drop, and we ended up with Insland and Danny Grant and Vince Green and that bunch that could catch the football. So, and remember, it was the defense, Mike, that tried to stop us, and they didn't know how to do it. I'm telling you. Well, you remember? I'm telling you. It was a Willamette bunch out of California.
You beat them 63 to 10, and they were undefeated.
Right, they were. It was like they didn't know how to cover the spread offense. We threw. I don't know how many times that night.
Yeah.
Probably 35 or 40.
Sim threw 6 touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah, they were trying to play us on a 3-deep zone. We put 4 wide receivers out, and they didn't know what to do. Yeah. They called timeout and tried to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it was unreal how we dominated. And like I said, Sim threw 6. The next week, a very good Texas A&I team. Now, that Texas A&I team could have played anybody. They were really that good.
They had 7 NFL players on there.
And, of course, Sim Bird threw 5 touchdown passes in that game to a great tight end, Doug Taylor. How good was Doug Taylor as a tight end, Max?
He was absolutely. Let me tell you what we could do with him, Mike. Not only could he block, he could run and catch. We use him on the line, but also we would back him up like an H-back today.
Yeah.
Put the wide receiver up, just back him back like he'd be another back in the backfield. And once again, it was the defense that didn't know how to cover him.
He was straight out of high school from Jordan High School in Columbus.
Absolutely right.
and he caught 3 touchdown passes in the championship game, Coach.
He really did.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, that was the magic of what we were able to put together. And Billy brought all of that stuff from the West Coast offense, and we just modified it. Now I'm gonna tell you, and you may not know this. After we won the championship in '68, that spring, Coach Jordan was still at Auburn. Pat Sullivan was the quarterback, and Terry Beasley was a wide receiver. We took our playbook up there and gave that to Coach Jordan, and that was one of the reasons that
Lorendo was their offensive coordinator at that time, wasn't he? Gene Lorendo.
Gene Lorendo, that's right.
And of course.
And every time I see Pat Sullivan, even today, I'll ask him where my miniature Heisman is.
You're right.
Without that offense, I don't know that he'd win it.
Exactly right. I'm gonna put you on hold a second. Bring in this other call. Hold on a minute. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike, I'm going to try to bring you in here. Let's see here. All right, let's try this one. I think I'm going to do it right here. Well, I'm having problems. Let's see. All right, we got you on? Max, you on?
Hello. I'm here. Yeah, I'm
All right,
here.
how about you, Mike? Mike? We're waiting for Mike Amos to come back. We're talking to Max Howell, and, of course, it is a Friday. Max, before we get away from you today, of course, Max Howell not only is was a great football coach, but somewhere down the line, Max, you learned how to cook, and now Max Howell cooking books are on sale everywhere. You can't keep enough of them. Is that right?
I'm out now, Mike, but I'm doing my third one right now, by the way. This is going to be my final one. I don't think there's any doubt. It's going to be a kind of a coffee table edition. It'll be the big, it'll be bigger than 8 by 12. It'll probably be a 17-inch book, a hardcover, and lay on your coffee table. It's going to probably take me another 6 months to get it all together. But I've got about 400 or 500 recipes that we'll put in this one.
Easy recipe would be you've heard of Kelly sausage in Elba, Alabama. Those link sausage. Everybody talks about Kanaka, but I'm a Kelly's guy. And one of the easiest recipes I know that's out there is just this simple. And it is, to me, great before you eat a steak. You're cooking a steak. Throw a few sausages on the grill, link sausages. Same way with tailgating, you throw some more sausages on the grill. Then you take a piece of light bread and you stick that sausage on top of a piece of light bread. Then you get a jar of honey and you pour that honey on the top. Max, it don't get no better than that. That honey on top of that sausage, on top of that light bread.
Mike, only in the South can you do and eat like that. I'm gonna tell you, I done been everywhere in the country,
but
nobody does it like we do down here.
Well, you and I have talked about this many times. We'd be cooking a steak, and everybody sitting around sipping on a cold one and waiting for the steak. Let's say you got friends over, and you throw a few of those link sausage on the grill. Heck, by the time the steaks are ready, we're filled up on sausage.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Exactly right.
It's so cool, Mike. Yes.
But Max Howell is I reckon some of your closest friends today are people you met around the grill.
Oh yeah, they are. Up here, that's one of the reasons I stayed in North Mississippi, Mike, because I became friends of these hunting and fishing groups up here, and I cook for them at least once a week.
Now, do you deep fry fish or do you grill fish? How do you?
All of it. Whatever they. Most of these people up here on this time of year, they're going to do fried fish. They're going to do crappie. They'll do fillets. It's a big catfish country up here. See.
No question about it.
Not only farm raised catfish, but river catfish. There's some guys up up here and pull 15, 20 pounders.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're only about 30 minutes south of Pickwick, on the Tennessee River. So, you know, we
and of course, a lot of it has to do with what kind of meal you use too, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Absolutely. And
Now, do you ever fry anything in flour? Do you ever fry?
I do a bit. Yeah, I do sometimes.
Somebody, a friend of mine does that with speckled trout. He'll marinate them overnight in buttermilk and flour. Oh no, excuse me, marinate them in buttermilk and then fry them in flour the next day. That's really good. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I've done that, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take my flour and cornmeal and mix it, and that gives you a little thicker crust because of the meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done the like anything much. If 5 ingredients.
Do you ever put it in brown bag? Do you ever put your fish in a brown bag and shake it up?
The flour, yeah.
That's the way old Bud used to do it. That's the way Bud. Bud was a good fish cooker.
I knew he was.
And what he'd do, he'd stick them in those big brown bags and he'd shake them up, you know.
How long was Bud with you?
We were on the air for about 8 years together.
Wow.
And it was a Bud Neighbor show. Now, we came on at 6 now. Can you believe that? Hey, you've been in morning radio. 6 is early. And, and then we were on from 6 to 7. And then this show that we're talking to you on today, went from 7 to 8:30. So I was on the air, and you can appreciate this, for about 3.5 hours. That's not easy to do, especially if you got it by yourself.
Garrett, listen, you don't have to tell me. I've been there, done that, Mike.
Now, we've got a restaurant here now that is really, really good, and they specialize in steaks. And now on Tuesdays they got crawfish and Low Country Boil and so forth. It's called Preston's is the name of this place. And he brought me out about a 10-ounce filet wrapped in bacon, and that bacon really gives it that flavor. And then he gave me do you ever put together a twice baked potato?
Oh yeah.
He puts in a twice baked potato not only with the butter, but also he'll put green peppers and bacon bits, and then brings out a real good ice cold salad. You know, the key to a salad is how cold the lettuce is. Don't you agree?
Absolutely right. Absolutely true.
So that's but he's got a fillet that will knock your socks off. And the thing I like about it, Max, and and people out there can call me a hog or whatever. All I'm concerned is, I don't care how much I pay for a steak as long as it's a good steak. Don't let me pay $30 for a steak that's not good. I promise you at Preston's, every steak you get will be good. When you're here, we might have to run out there and get one. While you're here next week.
I'd love to do that. I think I told you last week, maybe. I cooked last Friday night for a group. I think it was 8 or 10 in that group, and I paid $17 a pound wholesale for the steaks I bought them.
And were these fillets or were these ribeyes or what?
Oh, these are ribeyes. See, and that's why I don't use the bacon to wrap.
Yeah, I got you. You wouldn't do that with ribeyes, no.
No, they've already got the marble in them.
Yeah.
See, and that taste. I'm telling you, when you cut that inside, you can cut it with a fork.
I tell you what, that 10-ounce fillet, and fillet is all meat, and then you wrap it in bacon. Boy, I could hardly eat it all. Now, and what I'm saying, everybody says they go to the meat market and they say, all right, it says fillet, $19 a pound, $19 a pound. Well, hey, that's a bargain. Filet for $19 a pound is a bargain because you take 2 10-ounce fillets or 2 8-ounce fillets and go to the restaurant and order them. Hey, you're gonna be paying $50 or $60 for those 2 fillets.
Very true.
Yeah, but people look at it and say, but $19.95 a pound. You're looking at all edible meat. Isn't that right?
That's very true. And then, and that's what I do when I go out. I go, they're going to load you up with the sides, the baked potato, the salad, and sometimes you'll get a vegetable. that'll go with it. By the time you get through, you can't hardly walk out.
Exactly, no question. Mac, and let me tell you, it ought to be against the law to serve those delicious rolls that you could squeeze up in a ball in your hand. That sauce with butter.
And of course, then you got to have a dessert, Mike.
Oh yeah, and you've got a dessert that I hear will knock your socks off.
Well, then you got to go take a nap.
Yeah.
That's
and see, and the thing about yours, I know yours is that what is it? The chocolate.
Oh, that's you're talking about my Louisiana bread pudding.
Yeah. Well, I know about your little Louisiana bread pudding, but you also have that chocolate.
Mississippi mud.
Yeah, Mississippi mud. Now, do you serve that with ice cream or without?
That's optional. It's optional.
You'd almost have to kill somebody if you served it with ice cream, wouldn't
you? Oh, listen, if you don't tell me not to put the ice cream on it, I'm gonna put you. But I like to serve mine.
And you serve it warm too, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Put a couple of scoops of vanilla ice cream on it. Oh man! I'm telling you.
And then you could sprinkle at the top of that with pecans if you wanted to.
Absolutely right.
My favorite dessert. People go wonder how we got off sports, but my favorite dessert is a nice big piece of pecan pie, and boy, they've got the best pecan pie in the world at the Red Schoolhouse up the road here. If you're here on Sunday, I promise you I'll take you up there to eat. But let me tell you, you take that pecan pie, you put it in the microwave and warm it real good. Then you take a big old scoop of vanilla ice cream and stick on top of that. I think that is as good as you can get.
Mike, we sit here and just talk about all that eating, and I talk about it almost every show I do. But the fact is, and I try not to eat that much anymore.
Yeah.
You know this: the older you get, the harder it is, and you gain some weight.
Oh yeah. Most time I eat as much as I can eat, and then I'll eat it for supper the next night. But
that's exactly what I do.
We talk about steaks, and of course you like a ribeye and a fillet and everything. But if you got a meat man that'll cut you a good steak, is to cut a good T-bone steak with that fillet part, that big thick fillet part. In the other part, a New York strip. Don't you get the strip and the fillet in that T-bone?
You do, yes, you do. That's exactly.
So I mean, that's two great steaks in one. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's very true. But you also pay for that, Mike.
Oh yeah, but then a lot of people like the ribeye bone in. Why is that? It seems like the meat's so much better when it's closer to the bone. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what that's the selling point on it. A lot of steakhouses. We got a new Texas Roadhouse just been built in Tupelo, and that's their favorite meal.
Yeah.
Bologna and ribeye, and they do specials like on Friday night. I think it's like $22.95 or whatever. But I've eaten once or twice over there, and it is really good. It really is.
Max, you'll appreciate Troy. Of course, Troy's spring game is the 21st, and it's also the weekend of the Hall of Fame banquet, and everybody's looking forward to a great weekend that weekend. That's just in 2 weeks. But something that I have watched Coach Brown coach, and I'm going to ask you this: have you ever seen a coach with a mic? He's got the mic. He's the only guy out there that's got the mic, and you can hear him all over the practice field, even when they're using 2 practice fields. You can hear him, and he's directing everything, and he's moving just like the players are moving. Max, the players are constantly moving from one position to another section to another section. They got the horn, and they'll blow the horn, but it's mostly him telling them where to go. He's in control of the entire practice.
Well, that's I've heard that. I've not seen that.
Have you ever seen many coaches do that?
No, I've never seen it before.
And they're so well organized. They're just, he'll say period 19, kickers to the right, down at the end of the field, snappers over here, receivers back here. He's directing the entire practice.
Well, obviously it works for him because Troy's had great success with O'Neal Brown. You know that, and I look for him. Even though they lost a half a dozen great players this past year, I think of course the quarterback situation with Silver's gone. They're going to have to replace him. The running backs, but they've got great players.
Yeah.
And
the sad thing, I don't know, I wish somebody would call and tell me everything's fine, but the junior college transfer that they were real high on injured his knee at practice a week ago. I haven't heard the results of it, but anytime they have to carry him off the field, that scares me because that means they can't put any weight on it, you know.
Yeah, that's but I will say
he's a 230-pound tailback.
Yeah, well, Chubb was too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, and that's what they recruit to now.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I was going to say the technology today. They if they have to go in and scope it and fix it, normally 3 to 4 months. They're about ready. He may not be back for the first ball game, but unless it's a severe tear, then you got a chance to get him back within the next academic year.
Yeah. Coach Moore, their line coach, is about as good as he is in the country. He coached here under Blakeney, and then he went off to Texas Tech, and then he ended up over at a pretty good program at Louisiana Tech, and we were able to get him when Coach Brown got here. He's one coach I'd hate to see us lose, and then Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator, is another coach I'd hate to see us lose.
Right.
Those are two, and Max, you're on the outside looking in. Those are two of the finest football coaches in America right there, but they don't get the exposure that all these great head coaches get. But those guys can coach with anybody.
Well, they have. They've been around a while, and and I think from an assistant coach's standpoint, my guys, it depends on their personality, where they want to go, what they want to do. And I know, you go back and look, some guys, as you get a little bit older, you figure there's a nice place you want to settle down and quit moving. And the other guys, and I was one of those that kept moving around a great deal. I wish I'd have stayed probably some more places. I always had that that carrot hanging out there to try to get to a head football job somewhere. But you've got, from Neil Brown's standpoint, you've got to have all kinds. You got to have those guys that's going to come in, do a good job, and stay. And then you've got to have some young blood come in, and they're only going to be there a year or two, and you're going to try to get as much out of them as you can.
All right, Max, I appreciate you calling this morning, and of course, we'll be seeing you on the 21st, and we look forward to it. And I hope you have a great weekend, and hey, go cook something good for somebody in there this weekend.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch a lot of college football.
I'll be back in the office on Thursday, so call me on Thursday or Friday if you get a chance. Of course, you're going to be here that weekend, aren't you?
I'll do that next week.
All right. In fact, if you come in early, you can come be on the show. I'll talk to you.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you. You're on Today in L.A. Good morning.
Tell you what, it's hard to get on this show.
I know it. We have been busy, and of course, Max Howell. A lot of people don't realize how good Max is in the sport talk business. Mike, explain that to the audience.
Well, I mean, he was the number one guy for years in Atlanta on sports radio, and was there for several years. And then he's been, in Birmingham, in the Birmingham market, and then he's been in different parts of Mississippi, and he's their number one football analyst for Wim Sanderson and Barry Sanderson's show in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So
and that's probably one of the more popular shows too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good show.
The reason, and of course, the reason he calls in here, of course, I know.
As far as what his knowledge is and his background, he's really good. He's probably the best we could ever have calling our show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mike's calling in because one of his favorite things is one of my favorite things is watching golf. Everybody says, a guy told me the other day, Mike said, well, watching golf's the most boring thing in the world. Man, how could anybody say that when you see the greatest golfers in the world going at it, and you can watch every hole now. Used to, you could just watch the last 4 or 5 holes. Now you can watch every hole played, and they've already started, haven't they?
Yeah, I told my wife, I was like, this could be a better birthday weekend to have it during the Masters. I said I don't plan on doing a whole lot of stuff other than watching that. But then I found out we got to go to Chattanooga for a baptism on Sunday. So I told her, I said we got to get up there and get back. So I watched the final rounds.
Well, let me tell you also, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the A-Day game and both A-Day games will be televised in state. Now I don't know if I can get it at the beach. You think I can?
Well, it's only one A-Day game. It's just Auburn. Alabama and Troy's is.
I thought Alabama had their A-Day game this week. I thought we talked about that yesterday.
No, it's just.
So they're going to have theirs next week.
No, Alabama's going to have theirs on the 21st.
Mike, they've made an announcement, and I don't know if
Alabama's 2 weeks away.
Yeah. They made an announcement that the first game of the season next year is a 1AA game between Jacksonville State and, hear this, North Carolina A&T.
Oh,
it's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on ESPN, and of course,
Johnny Williams.
Johnny Williams has thrown Jacksonville State a bone, boy. I tell you,
but golly, you're playing North Carolina A&T.
I wouldn't think that was the best draw in the world. You're right. I could have seen them playing somebody like Furman or playing someone, somebody like that, but not North Carolina A&T. But they're pretty good. We used to play them, but if you look back when we did play them, when they had to go up against Wishbone. And Mike Turk, I think beat them 40-something to nothing.
If you're gonna play North Carolina A&T, why don't you just play Alabama State?
That's right, exactly. And of course, that would be televised on ESPN.
It'd be a lot bigger crowd with Alabama State in Montgomery.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, right now we're right in the middle of the Masters, and several of the guys have already gone off.
I tell you what, yesterday was a day that Spieth, was dominant, and then he ended up bogeying number 18. And I tell you what, it looks like it's going to come down to Spieth or McIlroy. That's the two I like right now. Spieth 600, McIlroy's 300.
And Spieth.
You can't forget about Phil being at 200. And Phil, I don't know if you watched 18, missed a 7-foot putt.
I know it. I saw it.
30.
I watched a lot of it, and of course he's hitting the ball real good. It's just amazing, ladies and gentlemen, these guys like Spieth. Who's still young. He's under 25 still, isn't he?
I think he's right at 25.
But, he is, he doesn't look like it, but he is burning inside. He is a competitor, if you'll ever, a lot more of a competitor than people realize.
Yeah, he really hadn't played great until really last week.
Yeah.
So, he took that momentum, and I tell you what, Tiger at +1, I think he's out of it. I don't think you can come back from that far down.
Well, there's so many good golfers. And this Tony Finau, I reckon that's how you pronounce his name. Where's he from?
Hole in one in the par 3 and almost broke his ankle.
And he is the leading driver on the tour now, Mike. He hits it well over 315 yards every time he hits one. And, of course, Spieth, is 2 strokes up on him. And Matt Kuchar, hey, if I had to name a winner right now that I would love, it'd be Matt Kuchar. I'd love to have him.
He's a Georgia native, Atlanta native. He's never won a major. He's the greatest player out there that's never won one.
And he's a great guy, one of the most popular guys out there. Of course, Tiger's still out there. Hey, don't ever count him out.
Tiger being +1 and Spieth at 600, I'd say he's done.
Now, very.
Because I don't think Spieth's going to go backwards. I think at worst today, Spieth can go 3 under and be a 9 under.
Well, I've been talking to you all the time about Heinrich Stenson.
Yeah, Hendrik Stenson.
Yeah, I've always said he's probably one of the most physical golfers on the tour. And, he very quietly is 3 under. A lot of people don't realize that he's out there. Adam Hanwood, who is he, Mike?
He's a Canadian player. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's in his 5th right now, or tied for 5th, or one of those 4 or 5 guys tied with 3 under. Patrick Reed always plays well. Charlie Hoffman always plays well, and then this kid from China is playing pretty good.
Yeah, Charlie Hoffman used to have all that long hair and cut it off. He looks like a different golfer when you see him out there, but he is pretty good.
Of course, Rory
McIlroy. He's had an up and down year. Yeah. I like McIlroy though.
Boy, he's got an unbelievable speed. I don't know how many mile an hour his swing is, but it's got to be the most on tour. Wouldn't you say that? He swings harder than
we really blew this. This would have been a perfect day for me to be on my birthday to be at the Masters, man.
I know
why we
that's
didn't try
right.
to set this up.
Mike Amos, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Michael and Camille Amos, my 2 children. who were born on today, April the 6th. How many are you willing to tell us how many years ago that was?
I don't care anymore, man. I'm married and happily married and got 2 little babies. I'm 42 now.
And you're 40 what?
42.
42 years old. That's a good number right there. I wish I was 42.
I didn't settle down and get married till about right when I was about to be 39. So I lived a lot.
All right, we got a great golf tournament to watch this weekend. We got Auburn A-Day football to watch this weekend.
Yeah, you better call your daughter Camille and sing happy birthday to her too.
I know it. Well, happy birthday, Michael and Camille. Mike, I did.
That's what I'm saying. You got to call Camille too.
I know it. I will. I'll do it after we get off the air.
we're all getting together for dinner tonight. So.
Well, that's great, and I'm proud of that.
Chef Merriman Epps, Camille's husband, is cooking crab cakes. So
oh man, I tell you, he's a great cook. Is Rebecca flown out yet, or is she fixing to?
I have no clue. I'll have to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our show, and of course we'll bring it back to you today at 1:30 till 3 o'clock. And again, we were live on Facebook this morning across the world. I'm going to be off a few days next week, but we'll be back next week and start filling you in on Troy T-Day and Alabama A-Day. It's going to be a lot of fun next week, too. It's just fun to be in your presence, and I appreciate it very much. And we'll see you next week.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy.